I have to. I have to keep it on brand. For people. I don't want to, but I
It's
didn't really style.
Halloween season anyway. You might as well.
I didn't style my hair. Pre-recorded Milan reports because that's basically the way things have to go. Matt and I just got off a podcast with Anthony from Interworldwide. Our friend Mario wasn't with us. Great chat with Anthony. We'll share that on our Twitter whenever he gets
Mhm.
us the link. I have to go ask him for it. Great guy. You guys should go check it out whenever you get the chance. Champions League is back. Technically tomorrow. We're recording this 8:30 p.m. over in the Northeast. So this will drop on YouTube, so you guys can go watch it prior to the match tomorrow, because Matt and I will both be working prior, during, and after the game. So we obviously won't be able to do that. We'll see if we can get a post-match recording similar to this, where it's pre-recorded and we just upload afterwards to give you our thoughts. I might be able to do a halftime spaces, so just check out my Twitter for that. Matt, Champions League is back. Last time we played in it, nightmare of a game. Didn't go our way. Things kind of got worse since. Starting left back is gone, number 10 is gone, and our goalkeeper is gone for the rest of the group stage matches. How are you feeling going into this? Porto, again, like we mentioned, this is the group of death. This is not an easy match.
No. Yeah, it's going to be another tough one, right? I think anytime you go into the Champions League, you have Champions League nights, whether it be hosting or making those away visits. This is the Champions League, and we've seen it, right? With Sheriff disappointing Real Madrid. Like this competition, it just is built for upsets. It's built for these sort of stories. And when I look at this match and I see the depletion of Milan's roster, already going into this game, when we circled this one on the calendar with them being drawn with Porto, we already knew that yes, maybe this was the match they had to have of the group of the teams they're playing. You would probably put Porto third in that order, but Porto are still a good team. They are consistently in the Champions League. They play pretty good football. They're a team that's often in the conversation to win their league in Portugal. So this is not going to be an easy one, guys. It wasn't going to be easy with us at full health. And when you take out you guys like Brahim, who was playing really well, Teo Hernandez, who was playing really well, he was starting to kind of click and be more offensively intuitive. You really don't have them. It's a real big hurdle. But I think, when we look at the actual makeup of this team, what maybe they lack on paper going into this one, I think they could potentially make up for in mental fortitude, resolve, the character, the togetherness, all those sorts of intangibles, right? That you can't really measure, but that that are there with this team. And we've seen many times under Stefano Pioli. So that's what it's going to take, right? It's going to take smart football. I'm talking to you, Kessie. I know he's not in here, but Kessie, like not putting yourself in positions where you're going to be booked and you're going to really put the team behind an 8 ball. It's top to bottom. It's going to take in my eyes, a near perfect performance. I'm not going to say Porto's this huge world beater, but they're a
It's
good
still
team that
away.
can beat.
It's in Portugal.
Yeah, they're a good team. And
Second in Portuguese league.
Barcelona with the Benfica, and Benfica owned them. I know Barcelona are not very good these days, but you get the
Milan's
point,
better
right?
than Barca, yeah.
So it's going to be a tough one, but I have some confidence in the guys, the way we've been playing, the way we've been be able to go and overcome a lot of these obstacles and issues that we have to get results. Martin, I want to throw it back over to you.
Sure.
If you're looking at this match and there's an opportunity, right, because there's been a lot of conversation regarding, well, should we really go all in on this now that we lost the first 2 games and we have a depleted roster here? The champion getting out of this group is very difficult, even though we've played the first 2 games pretty well, all things considered. When you're looking at this match, are you more in that field of if it's there to be had, would you rather take the risks to get those 3 points? Or would you have a more prioritization of the game that we have coming around the bend in the league? Because with this, the way it is that, yes, if we can get a victory, you want to go for a victory. But are you going to exhaust all your options and burn your squad out to the point where it's going to compromise on the wraparound match? So how are you feeling in that conversation?
I think you play it by ear. I think there's just certain situations that, call for instances of, we didn't play a lot of our guys during, the weekend match against Verona.
No.
Right? We divvied up the amount of minutes by a good amount. you're going to have Kessie rested for this technically, right? You're going to have him on the weekend. So at least one of the starting double pivot midfielders, where Bakayoko can also come in and
Yeah,
give
he's
some
back.
relief on the weekend as well. You get him returning. The issue is probably up front. There's no Rebic with this as well. This was something I forgot to mention. I think always, and you're right, you said it, if you have an opportunity to win a match, you go to win it. Because there's financial um, implications within this match. You could get a couple $1,000,000 of euros within here if you win this match. You give give yourself a chance in the group. That's 3 points on the road. Difficult. That's something that you want. It's the second road match. Atletico has a chance to drop points against Liverpool. Maybe gain some ground there. There's something to be had. You have to always give yourself a chance.
Mm-hmm.
As far as exhausting options, it's strange because we're going to have Calabria starting on the left. Kalulu's going to be on the right. I believe it was Simon Kier back in the starting lineup, correct? Yeah, with Tomori.
Yeah.
Which again, you'll have Romagnoli for the weekend. So again, that rotation, it'll be okay. I believe it's Bologna as well on Saturday. And then the turnaround to Torino on a Tuesday. So, and then it keeps going. So I think there's that window of opportunity there where you had players like even Salamakers didn't play too much against Verona. Samu came in and did something. Krunic now is going to be starting from there. And Krunic handled himself very well against Manchester United, Matt, when they played in the Europa League. I think he can put in a decent enough performance against Porto. I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater. I'm not going to be saying he's going to be turning into what he was in the first couple of games of the season before he got hurt on international break. I think there is a good enough team here that we saw compete with 10 men against Atletico, who is a much better side than Porto is at home. I think there's something here. I think it's an interesting and difficult task on the road. Porto looked terrible against Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been a lot worse than what it was. So for me, I think Milan have a good chance of getting a result here. If we get a win, it's awesome. I think a draw is a more likely result if Milan were to get one. Again, this Porto isn't invincible. They're not invincible. I think we got a real shot here. And I respect them. They're undefeated in the Portuguese league. They're in second right now behind Benfica by 1 point, as you mentioned how well Benfica have been playing. I just don't want to risk something, and that's Ibrahimovic in this.
Yeah.
If we don't have to put him in good amount of minutes, don't do it. Because the guy's already trying bicycle kicks his first day back.
Yeah.
It's giving everyone scared. He looked good, though. I know he's 40. I know we've seen him get hurt a lot. He was moving real well. I will say that. I don't know. But the Bennacer Tonali thing, I'm very fascinated by. Are they going to be able to, perform at the highest levels? Because I think, again, I know it's maybe a little lazy, but X factor. If Tonali and Bennacer can play their game and play it well, I think Milan have a really good chance to create some opportunities because the pressing is going to be out of this world.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think you kind of start to, as you get closer to the game and as you sort of dissect the squad that's potentially going to be out there for Stefano Pioli, it's not all doom and gloom, right? I mean, you still have a team that has a pretty good defensive record. That's the 2 goals aside against Verona, which, look, you kind of chalk it up to a team that's been very defensively stout the entire season and had a couple lapses in judgment, right? Ballatore, giving away the ball to Verona, they counter, they move up the field, and they get a goal, right? So, like, these sorts of things, you have to, you can't have them against Porto. Let me be clear there. You can't have them against better teams, and this is something I harped on in our post-match reaction, right? Like, against better teams, the way you played against Verona is not going to cut it. You're not going to overturn that. A team like Porto will take advantage of that. So if you think you're going to come out flat the way you did against Verona, against Porto, and expect to get a result, you're sadly mistaken. Porto are a good team. They have some key players in there. It's a tough road test.
Leao has scored on them.
They're a good side. They're a team that's well traveled. They're established in this competition. But I think there's still something in this Milan team that you just simply cannot quantify and measure beyond players, right? Like, if you're looking at this, you mentioned Calabria and Kalulu, right, at fullback positions. Would it surprise anybody at this point who's watched Milan enough if Kalulu puts in a shift and plays really well in the Champions League? It won't.
He's going to. I'm telling you right
It
now. I'm
won't.
telling everyone in here.
Calabria
He's
is
going
going
to.
maybe Calabria at left back is a little bit tricky because that's like I know he did pretty decent defensive mid against Juventus and scored a goal, but he's a right back and he's one of the better right backs in Serie A. So you really don't want to tinker with him too much, but these are the times we're in, right? So I think the defense is the key. Porto see that they don't have Mike Maignan back there. They see that they have a little bit of a discrepancy and some issues in the fullback position.
Like, how is Kier playing
this?
this?
It's going to have to be compact, organized, and we're going to look to Tatarusanu to come up with some pretty key saves in this. I'm not saying if you have to have him make 7-8 saves, then you're probably not going to win the game. 2 to 3 saves, I think you're going to have to ask of Tatarusanu to keep you afloat in this and give you a chance to get it at 3 points, because at this point, I think you need 3 points to get out of this group from this match.
You have to.
You have to.
After we talked about
Atletico and Liverpool,
you have to. You
can't. Yeah.
You have to get the 6 points from Porto, and you have to beat Atletico. Or you got to draw at Atletico. Hopefully, Liverpool wrapped up the group, and then you get an easier game against Liverpool, where you have most of the squad that's minus Mike Maignan, and then you do what you can there. I think it's going to be difficult with the Calabria thing. When Calabria was playing left back, it's when he initially came up. He's going to be an inverted fullback. Foto Ballatore, you can't start him in this match. I agree with the direction that Pioli went in with this. It's just, Alexis Salamakers just has to play better, man. This is what I was kind of talking about. Cool. You showed up against Spezia. You showed up against Venezia. Matt, what was the thing I asked? Can you do it against the sides that are a little bit of a step above? Can you do what you just did against those guys where you're turning into prime Ronaldinho, dribbling past all these players? Can you do it against a Fiorentina type team? Can you do it against a Verona type team, a Torino? He didn't do it. Matt, he was awful on the weekend. He was one of the antagonists in that. There's a reason he gets subbed off at halftime. And I'm not trying to harp on him. I respect him. I understand what he brings to the team. Maybe he had a little bit of jitters because he got renewed till 2026. You got to play better. This is the Champions League now. Yeah. This is Milan. This is not any of got to give Salamakers time with this. It's not about time now. It's about showing up. It's about producing, right? Leao shows up against Atletico, produces, comes off the bench, produces. I mean, he's
Porto, sporting player.
Yeah, he scored on AC Milan, France. Show the clip. He scored on Iker Casillas, which is so beautiful in hindsight because of what Iker has said about us in recent months with the Donnarumma situation.
Oh yeah,
good riddance with him, wise ass. Yeah, listen, you never know how Milan will come out. I think the jitters of the Champions League are past it.
Yeah,
I think that what we saw with the Anfield thing and in that game, on top of the team being that good, I think it's past. I think they have so much more confidence in themselves after what we saw in the Atletico match. Even though it didn't go their way, like I said, in the Atalanta match, dominate
their
Lazio.
game. Against Liverpool, they were chasing. Against Atletico, they were dictating. And in this game, I think against Porto, it's going to be. I know it's for most of these players, it's their third Champions League game, but I think they're going to play more of it's a casual game. It's okay. We've played here in the Champions League before. This is nothing new to us. I think that's the key thing, right? And we've been touching on the other intangibles, like the sort of mentality, the confidence that this team has exuded despite some of the things that have held this team back from being healthy and really having that full staff available for the long haul here. I look at a match like this and I think you start looking to players like Leao a little bit more. Giroud, yes, we know Giroud and some of the other players in this team have experience, but you'll look to a guy like Leao who's obviously grown so much.
So good.
He has experience against this team, and he's afforded the opportunity to play key minutes in the Champions League and I play a key role. Now he's not so much a spark off the bench type player or a player who's a wild card who could
He's
come
Milan's
on.
best winger.
Right now, like coming into this game, he's probably Milan's most informed attacker. That's not even probably, he is, based on the guys we have because Brahim's not there. And you look to him as, all right, he's your key guy. He's your
Yeah.
key attacker. He's your star to watch for in the attack for Milan to do anything. So you start to look to her and you look to your key players and you rely on your keepers. And I think it's interesting. I think I didn't see the actual quote. But I think we actually put this up on the site where Stefano Pioli's, has basically said that like Leao's he's our one of our key guys. Like he's one of our main players. And it says a lot coming from him because we know Pioli's been a little bit more harsh on him in recent years. Not that he's doesn't believe he's a good player, that he's doubting him, is that he knows he's capable of more and being this electric difference-making type player, and we're seeing it. So he's sort of repaying that confidence that Pioli's had in him. So you look to matches like this for Leao to carry you when you don't have your main full staff here.
You know who I also look to? Giroud. I think this is like prototypical like Giroud match.
Like goal,
Man,
assist, like type performance, like getting gritty, getting in the build-up, winning fouls.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, would you be? I wouldn't be shocked by a 1-0 result for Milan where Giroud is on the other end.
Like we grind defensively, like one
of
those.
Like they did. Like we finish off the job that was supposed to happen against Atletico.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think our style of play is more suited for the Champions League than people would like to admit. I really do. Again, like it's so funny to me on how people just really view Milan yet and are still hesitant. Like we were just talking about with Anthony. To like, why is everyone so hesitant for it? I keep on saying it here, and I know you agree with it. It's like they just scored 3 goals in the second half when Milan wasn't supposed to be doing that, right? Like they created something out of nothing when they were dead in the water. A team like that is ready for this. I'm not saying they're absolutely going to win. If Porto won, would not be shocked. Let me get that out of the way. But what I am telling you is that Milan definitely have a chance to win this game. I would not be shocked in the slightest if they do win this game. But it's going to be very close. Yeah. If Milan win this game 4-0, then they can get out of the group. Like, obviously. Like, if Milan win this by at least 2 goals, like, if that were to happen, Matt, then I am completely doing a 180 outlook on the group. Because then it's like, okay, can Milan do that at San Siro against Porto? Yeah, they could beat him. If they get Teo and Brahim Diaz back, right? They could do it. Then it's just get a draw at Atletico. Grind it out. I'm not even saying score there. I'm saying play their game. Diego Simeone wants to get down and dirty. We were playing, it was basically going to be 1-1 when we had 10 guys. We know we can go toe-to-toe with them. And again, with the Liverpool thing, who's to say even if Liverpool would have put out a strong 11, Milan play them in a grittier and tougher environment in their favor, that they could grind out a 1-1. Liverpool isn't the greatest on the road, in recent times with these Jurgen Klopp
they have a home field advantage that plays.
I mean, they're an amazing team. I still think they're the best in Europe. I said it prior to the season, and I know a good amount of people will hop on that. But again, I don't know, man. Like, I'm a little bit optimistic. I don't think we make it out of the group, but there's still that path there, and not all hope is lost. And maybe that's just because of the standards I have for Milan, because that's the way they should have standards. Is there any changes that you would make to the starting 11? Are you okay with Calabria on the left and Kalulu there?
I don't have a problem with it. I think that a lot of the qualities and traits that Calabria do have could potentially translate out the left back position. I'm not going to say that there's not going to be some bumps in the road, and there's not going to be some potential issues that Porto look to exploit. That's obviously going to be a focus for them, right? They're looking at the fullbacks and thinking, all right, we have one guy playing out of position. We have another guy who's at right back who is very talented, but is still young and doesn't have a large amount of games under his belt. So Porto are well enough to know to exploit those certain potential issues that Milan may have. But I think that when you look at this team, I think you can dissect it. You can see who
Mm-hmm.
should be taken out. We could be, how many times have we talked about in the game against Verona, like personnel, like would you put this guy in? He should have started this guy. Pioli this season, unlike at times last season, has shown the propensity to know when he's done something wrong and to
Mm-hmm.
correct an issue.
He's being proactive
Right.
instead of
He's
reactive.
right.
Yeah.
Right. We talked about it, at halftime against Verona. Everyone was like, "Oh, he should have started this guy. That's good. This guy." I was like, "It's right now. That's 45 minutes is done."
I just had one issue with that, and it was only
Rebic and
because of
Leao
injury. It wasn't. It was the Rebic thing, only because of
because of
injury
his
risk.
not training. But
Yeah,
what I'm saying to you
of
is
course. Yeah.
it's the adjustment, and Pioli he's shown in game to adjust pretty well to get results. He pushed all the right buttons against Verona. I know it's Verona, so pump the brakes before anybody on YouTube hurts me here, but you get the point, right? So I think that this next man up mentality plays in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And it's gonna take a collective effort. You're gonna have to be defensively stout. Tonali and Benacer are gonna have to be Tonali and Benacer, the players we know they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
The key, in my eyes, is always going to come down to the attack and whether or not we can muster up enough chances. Because
Mm-hmm.
up until the point in the second half, we looked very disjointed. Even Giroud really wasn't much involved, and something clicked, and we brought the intensity. When we play like we're trying to dictate the game, we put pressure. We put them on the back foot, and we
There's
create
not
chances.
that. There's not. I can't name you 12 teams in Europe that could beat us.
But I'm not going to say I agree or disagree, but I will say that with the mentality that Milan came out in the second half with, that own goal, that's yes, by you creating chances, by you putting pressure, by you getting the ball in the opposition third, you create that luck. I understand it's luck and you get to get right bounce. I get that, but we
Everyone
did that
gets good
last year.
fortune.
Everyone said, "Oh, Milan got all these penalties," but there's something to be said about you just completely dictating the game and pinning teams back to the point where you create your own luck. You create chances.
Yep.
You get bounces that work in your favor. That's what this game has to be. Leao, Salamakers, these guys have to step up. Like in a strange way, and this is kind of dumb to say probably, but by not having Teo and Brahim and Mignon in a Champions League game, it's really going to show us what this team is made of. Because it's easy to kind of do it and navigate through a Serie A game against a Verona or a Venezia or Spezia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with the team, we've even saying it. This team has enough to beat Venezia, Maldini starting games and all that stuff.
Yep.
Champions League is different. And if you have guys like Salamakers and Kalulu being able to step in and help you win a Champions League game, what does that say for Milan's chances, bigger picture, when they have their full staff and they're going up against some of the best? So it's going to be a test in that sense to
Mm-hmm.
see what the quality is of Milan's 13th to 15th to 17th player in their squad. We all know what the big stars are going to do. You know the big stars are going to show up. Teos, you all know what they're capable of. Can Salamakers help you win Champions League games? That's what we have to see here. Can Kalulu step in and help you win a Champions League game? That's what I'm trying to look at with this team and see. And I think that's going to be a big challenge for some of the players that Pioli puts out there.
I agree. And I don't want to keep you on for too long because the Sox just hit another grand slam. I don't know if you saw.
I
Schwarber
haven't
hit.
I honestly haven't. I have it right here.
Schwarber hit one. The Sox are up 6-0 in Game 3 of the
Dude,
ALCS. So
I
I
haven't
don't want.
even been watching it, and it's right there. It's literally right there on. But I was like, I'm just gonna focus on here.
Look at what a focused host you guys have here. I'm the one checking his own team's score. Yeah, 6-0. Kyle Schwarber homer. I mean, listen, Red Sox are a juggernaut. Predictions as we wrap up. I mean, listen, I think it could be a 1-1 draw for Milan. I hope to God we get a win. I just want, you know what I want? Even if we don't make it out of the group, even if we finish last, give me one win. in the group stage. Give me one Champions League win. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like everything's against us at this point after the Atletico thing, down on our spirits. Now we got 3 key players missing. Give me a win. Show me some. They showed me enough fight. They've exceeded my expectations for the way they were supposed to play in this group. And everyone else agrees with that. And if they don't, they just have their narrative and agenda that they want to drive through. Because any other Serie
I'm
A
not worried
team.
about the fight though. Like
No,
those,
no, no,
like I
no.
said,
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like
no,
they've given us that. They've given that to us, and
right.
that's the
But
minimum we
I'm
want.
saying it's like at the we know that they're gonna bring it. Like I'd be stunned if Milan comes out flat and the players are not running, their heads are down. I'd be stunned if that's what I see from this team. As I said, you're behind the 8 ball here. Tough away visit, away game here. Injuries. If you can't bring your all to a game like this, it's in my eyes easy to get up for
Yeah,
Atletico and Liverpool. It's easier
I
to get
agree.
up for those games.
Yeah,
It's harder when you are already behind the 8 ball and no one's expecting you to do really anything now, right? So that's what I'm looking at for this team. I that's how I see the nature of this game going. It's going to be gritty. There's going to be chippiness. Milan are going to have to get physical with Porto. You know, make some calculated fouls. Pick up some yellow cards. You're going to have to do that if you're going to win a game like this. I don't have a problem with it, but to your point, I think I'd like to think you need a win here. If you get a draw here, then because then the wraparound it's tough. It's really tough to get out of the group at that
yeah.
point.
No, I mean, listen. Out of the 3 games with Atletico and the 2 with
You got to win
Porto,
this one. You got to win this one.
it's either 2 wins and a draw is what you're gonna have to do. But we'll see what happens, man. I mean, the game is going to be 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock in Italy. Hopefully, Milan is able to pull something off. Quick turnaround from the Saturday match. Let's see when Porto last played. They won 2-1 over the weekend. They dominated. Holy shit. They dominate, right? But they did lose to Liverpool 5-1 again. Drew against Atletico 0-0. So can't forget about that. Hey, listen, man. We're only 1 point behind Atletico Madrid if we get a win. That's all you know. All you got to say. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We appreciate everyone that hangs out and chills with us when we're able to do post-match stuff. We are going to more than likely probably have to do another preview on Saturday again because the match is on Saturday. We'll figure it out. It's just easier for Matt and I with the workload that we have, you know. Players got to rest. Matt Martino got to rest. I also don't want to wear this all the time, even though I agree to the bet. It's another 13 days. Yeah, follow Matt on Twitter at Matt_Santangelo. Been on the ticker this whole time. You can follow me on Twitter at Martino Puccio. Follow Vito on Twitter at Vito Angele. You can go and follow Milan Reports on Twitter at MilanReports.com. I don't have to tell you to go watch the full episode on Milan Reports YouTube because that's where you're going to be watching this because we're not live today. But yeah, stay tuned for anything else. Yeah, other than that, talk to you guys soon.